Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another shameless plug. If you go over to Roninazarin Talks, we've done another Deathmatch with the Bulgarian troglodyte, and we each picked 5 films that are underseen or underrated, but generally underseen or not really available, and it was just an opportunity to talk about some films that we think people should have a look at. So my 5 choices, not surprisingly, obviously there was a John Sayles film, but this is a John Sayles film with subtitles. Men with Guns, about a doctor played by the wonderful Federico Lippi, who goes into the countryside to find his junior doctors that he trained, and he kind of gets an eye-opening experience. It's a road movie, as he comes across some characters like a disillusioned priest, a runaway from one of the sides that are fighting in the Civil War, a young woman who's been through a traumatic event. It's just beautifully acted, beautifully written as you'd expect. This was his follow-up to Lone Star, so after getting an Oscar nomination he decided, yeah, let's make a film with subtitles. And then we have Rapina from 1975, a film by Carlos Enrique Taboada from Mexico. This is a wonderful little film. This is a 3-film set from Vinegar Syndrome, but this is about Rapina, featuring the guy holding the gun there. It's basically a reworking of The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, but 2 poor farmers kind of go up a mountainside and they come across the wreckage of a plane, and they decide to loot the corpses and the corpses' luggage, but then a couple of other people turn up. You can pretty much guess where it goes, but it's just wonderfully done, and it's great seeing a familiar little story but from another country and another culture. And then one of my films of the year, Pharaoh, by Jerzy Kalerowicz, which isn't his name obviously, from Poland. It's a Polish film from 1966, sorry. Excuse me. Set in ancient Egypt during Ramses XII and Ramses XIII. An amazing colour. It's about 160 odd minutes. What's actually longer than that? No, 152 minutes. But it's absolutely beautiful. The cinematography, the shot composition is absolutely stunning. Shot in Uzbekistan, but just one of the most beautiful films you'll ever see. Yuzui Masamura, the wife of Seishu Hanoka, starring the wonderful Ayako Wakeo, and the equally wonderful Hideko Takamine. This is based on a true story of a doctor in Japan who was trying to be able to anaesthetize humans using an extract of a flower, and Wakeo plays his wife, Takamine plays his mother, and both of them are kind of vying for his favour and vying to be his guinea pig, each taking turns to be knocked out, and they all want to be the best guinea pig possible, while he's just focused on his work. It's an absolutely wonderful film, another wonderful film from Masamura. And then we have Umberto Pasolini's Still Life, with underrated Eddie Marsan as a man who works for a local council, and it's his responsibility when somebody who lives on their own dies to try and find out information about them and try and find relatives to help with the funeral and turn up at the funeral. This is a personal favourite of mine. It's probably a fairly narrow kind of amount of people that would really be affected by it the way I was. I was weeping like a small child at the end. The ending is a risk. It could have went one way or the other, and I guess depending on your world view, it probably will go one way or another. You know, if you've got lots of friends and family and you think your life is amazing, you're probably not going to get much out of this film. But if you're like me, a solitary Ronin, you might find this quite powerful. So that's my 5 choices that I went with in this death match. You can go over to Roninazarin Talks. I'll leave the link below to see who won. In the end, obviously Nazarin Prod and the Bulgarian Troglodyte each had their own 5 choices. So thanks so much for watching this shameless plug, and you can go over and have a wee look if you want to find out the winner of the most underseen film. But as I said, you can check out all 16 choices, because we needed another one. So thanks very much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films. Oh yeah, my other choice was Darkness and Talon, I've suddenly realised, which I don't have the disc for, from 1993, which is a wonderful film about Estonia when they got their independence from the USSR. And a bunch of money was put into the National Bank and Russian mobsters' plan to steal it by knocking out all the power in the city. So that was my other pick. I just don't have a physical disc for it because that's how underseen it is. So as I was saying, thanks so much for watching. Please go over to the Roninazarin Talks channel if you want to listen to 3 people talk a bit of nonsense about some films for an hour. So that's the Solitary Ronin doing a bad job of plugging it, saying farewell.